Hello everyone and welcome to yet another flytying tutorial. My name is Daniel and I run Nordic Anglers. Today we're gonna tie one of my all-time favorite flies for fishing for sea trout in the evening, night and morning here in Denmark. But I'm sure this will work equally as well in Norway or Sweden or wherever there is sea trout running. So this fly is intended to be a wake fly. It has a plastic disc here in front that pushes a lot of water, which means when this fly swings across the current, it will move a lot of water, and ideally it will kind of make, as when you see fish move, it will make this big wave. It will not stream, but it will just make a wake, and that's one of the key elements about this. And this is also one of the types of flies that we in Denmark call wake flies. This fly is called the MV disc fly because it has this disc that is dubbed MV disc after Martin Vodborg. And basically it's, as I said, my all-time favorite sea trout fly for fishing, night fishing. So if you haven't any of these, then please watch this full video and tie some of these, because this really, really, really works. Here goes. The first we need is of course a tube. You can use a clear or you can use a black one. We're on a fishing trip and I left my fly tying out last night and someone used all my clear tube, so now we're just gonna use the black one. But it's gonna be covered by the body anyway, so it's really not that important. So just gonna start the fly off with having some tying thread underneath what's gonna be the body, which is made from the really cool Lagertun braid that's in a fluoro pearl, one of the greatest colors that I use really, and as you can see, we're down to the last 10 centimeters for this because I've used it so much. The important thing here is that you have a fly where the actual body is almost as long as the wing, because sea trout sometimes have a tendency to kind of nibble at the fly. So you need to have your hook placed right where the wing stops. It's completely different from with salmon. Salmon will often just grab the fly and grab the whole fly, no matter the size. That's why you can fish a really large sunray shadow on a fairly short tube, because the salmon just basically grabs all of the fly. But the sea trout, especially during the nighttime, can kind of, as I said, nibble at the fly. So it's important that you have a full-length tube when you're fishing, night fishing for these sea trouts, because that will ensure that you have a higher success rate and that you will actually land more of the fish that strikes your fly. So if you want a really large fly, you of course need a fairly long tube. This is a medium size I'm tying here, so we don't need as long a tube, but the size of this fly depends both on the water you fish. For instance, if I were to fish this fly in a smaller stream, like Lilleåen or some of the streams that is in Himmerland, then I would probably use something like this. But if I were going to Karup or perhaps Vejle or something, I would scale up the size here. Also, depending on if you're fishing in the dead of night, where it's really dark, then the bigger ones are better. But if you're fishing in, let's say, the early evening, just after sunset or thereabouts, then perhaps a smaller one like this would be a better option. So tie a few in a few different sizes, and the darker it is, the bigger the fly should be. That's basically a good rule of thumb for fishing these night sea trout flies. The first thing we need now is a white wing. So we're gonna use some Arctic fox or some marble fox. Either is fine. The Arctic fox is probably bit easier to use for this because it's a bit shorter in length. So if you're not going to use the full length of this, then the Arctic Fox is a bit easier. And we want a fairly small, fairly slim first wing in white here. There we go. And as you can see, this is only as long as the actual tube, and it will help with the tapering of this. The black one is going to be slightly longer, but not that much, but a little. There we go. And now we need the rubber legs, and for this I like the chartreuse rubber legs. Chartreuse is a great color for this fly, and most of mine are chartreuse, but you can spice that up if there is a particular color that is good in your stream where you fish. You can make one in yellow, or I have some in purple that are quite good as well, or even pink. So it's just a matter of what you think is the best option for your water. And there we go. We're gonna tie 2 of these down, one on each side of the rubber legs here. And then on the other side as well. Fasten these on the sides. I'm gonna pull them and tie them down a bit up the tube here to make the front of the fly here that we're gonna do with the dubbing. And these are not even in length now, but we can do that later on. There we go. And now I need a dubbing loop, just a small one. And the dubbing part of the body here is to ensure that the fly moves a lot of water, and to enable it to make the famous wake a bit more easily. I'm gonna take some chartreuse. This is the dubbing here is semi-sealed by Spawn, but any chartreuse dubbing will do. Just a dubbing that fits the color scheme of the fly. You can even also just use black if you like, but it's the dubbing has a function, and it can probably help as a strike point for the sea trout. But the main function of the dubbing here is to kind of build a front part of the body that has more density and more volume to help this fly move more water. So it's easier for the sea trouts to find it in the dark. I'm looking forward to this day's fishing. We're fishing salmon in a Danish river, and we're fishing at the stretch that's very close to the ocean today. So it's all a matter of when the tide is right for the waters to start flowing. And then I'm gonna use the final turn of the dubbing to push the rubber legs back, so they will come out from the body, but they will be facing backwards again. I don't think it's necessary to brush that out, but yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Then we need a black Arctic Fox wing. Just gonna find the right one here. Or marble fox again. Marble fox is longer. Yeah. As you say. I don't give a marble fox about anything. again, as you say. You want a fairly large wing, but not too long, and you want it to taper, so it has the right tapering here. This is quite a beautiful wing here, but I'm gonna push it a little so it tapers a bit more. And this should be just longer than the white one and just longer than the tube, but not more than that. Just tie this on top here, apply some pressure. There we go. Cut away all the hairs here. I should have brought a better scissor. I can see that the tip on this one has been a bit mangled. I'm not saying that anyone here did that. I think it was that from the beginning. I'm pretty sure, but you know. For the finishing touch, we need a hen saddle feather in black. This is both to give this fly a clean finish, but it's also again to move a bit more water. I'm gonna tie this in the tip here. There we go. Away with that stump. And then I turn the first couple of turns on top of where we tied the marble fox down, and then basically just turn the hackle. And of course the length of the hackle here, you can go with a short one that is a bit more dense, but you could also go with a longer one. Basically, I like one that is a bit longer than where the actual body of dubbing is placed. There we go. I'm gonna cut away the rest of the hackle here, the hackle stem. You have a nice small head, and in its own right, this is a nice fly that probably could catch a salmon or a sea trout. But we like and if you just basically just apply a cone head, you will have a fly that fishes great, but it will fish a bit further down in the water column. I'm just gonna do a whip finish here, but we're gonna attach one of the MV disc, dubbed after a quite. A very, very nice guy who's a bit famous in Denmark as well, Martin Votborg. So the MV disc is named after him because it's, well, basically he was one of the first who pioneered this kind of disc, and he makes some on his own. Future Fly have just mass produced them. And basically you take the MV disc and then you really mash it on there, like so. It's easier if you have a zapper gap, but I forgot that at home. And basically there we're done. So the disc here in front will really move a lot of water. It will help the fly push the water and help the fly to have this the effect in the water where it makes a wake when it swings across. And this is something that the sea trout at night really likes a lot. So as I said before, this is my go-to night fly. Now, there's a lot of wind here, so this is a bit difficult. Whoa. I'm melting down the tube here without lighting my full fly on fire. Hopefully, that was the intention at least. We did that. Not lighting the fly on fire, but just gonna expand the and basically there you have it. And as you can see, the body here is is almost as long as the wing. So even if a sea trout comes up, and because the hook is going to be extended from here, of course, then when a sea trout comes up and just very gently tries to bite in the tip of this fly, they will feel the hook, and this will increase the number of fish that you actually catch. And not just have, maybe these should be a bit long, a bit shorter, the front ones. There we go. Well, there you have it, the MV disc. So here is the finished fly. This is, as I said, the MV disc fly. It has a great silhouette, it catches a lot of sea trout, and if ever you plan to fish for sea trout or just basically big trout in evening or night, then this fly will be one of, I can guarantee you, this will be one of the best go-to patterns for exactly that. It has a really nice silhouette. The rubber legs move extremely well, exceedingly well in the water, and for some reason this pattern here just has almost magical properties when it comes to catching sea trouts. My colleague Martin fished with this last night and got one really nice sea trout on this, and last week when I was at Vejle fishing this as well, I had 3 strikes in an evening. So I never leave home without this fly if I'm going night fishing for sea trout, and I would urge you to tie some as well. You can of course always get the full and complete material kit to this fly and any other fly we have on this channel at Nordic Anglers. That is our web shop. So swing by Nordic Anglers for any type of fly tying, well, there's only one thing left, and that is to wish you all the best of luck out on the water. With this, you won't need as much luck because this works.